Coming up on a Levi Trumbull Breaking News special presentation.
You will not interrupt my time, ma'am. I have a First Amendment right to tell you my opinions. This is the right to redress of grievances in your face.
First Amendment activist Shaun Porter has just filed one of the biggest lawsuits in state court history.
Want to suppress my right to free speech? Fuck you, John Barr. Fuck you, Randy Wagner. Fuck you, Kid Killer Klein.
And unfortunately, no man is safe from the uncontrollable wrath of Shaun Porter.
Congratulations, you started a war with a motherfucking psychopath, and nothing better to do than to come after all you and expose your dirt.
Hey everyone, Levi Trumbull here, and today we are diving into what might be one of the most explosive lawsuits that I have ever covered. So remember a few months back when I told you about a Washington County Commissioner, John Barr, suing activist Shaun Porter for $10 million over a parody sign? Well folks, Shaun Porter just fired back with both barrels, and we're talking about a $100 million plus countersuit that's targeting not just local politicians, but also some of the biggest names in big tech. So let me quickly catch you up to speed on how we got here. Back in March, Washington County Commissioner John Barr filed a $10 million defamation lawsuit against Shaun Porter, a local First Amendment activist. Now, the lawsuit was over a parody sign that Porter had been displaying at public meetings. This wasn't just any sign, it was modeled after the famous Hustler magazine ad that led to the landmark 1988 Supreme Court case Hustler magazine versus Falwell. For those of you who do not know, that case established that parodies of public figures, even really offensive ones designed to cause emotional distress, are protected by the First Amendment. The original Hustler ad depicted televangelist Jerry Falwell in a fictional incestuous encounter with his mother in an outhouse in Lynchburg, Virginia. Porter's sign was a similar parody featuring John Barr, suggesting an inappropriate relationship with his late mother. Now, Barr claimed this sign caused him significant emotional distress, especially since his mother had passed away in January of 2024. He sued Porter for $10 million in damages, claiming defamation, but Porter wasn't about to roll over just yet, because Shaun Porter has just filed what can only be described as a nuclear countersuit. We're talking more than $100 million in damages, and he's not just going after John Barr. He is suing practically half of Washington County government. He's suing the school board and major tech companies like Google and Meta. So as it relates to the Washington County officials, he's suing John Barr, who is the original plaintiff in this case, and the Washington County, Maryland Commissioner President currently. He's also suing current commissioners Derek Harvey, Jeffrey Klein, Randall Wagner, and Randall Leatherman, again, all county commissioners currently. He's also suing Zach Kiefer, the county attorney. He's suing Michelle Gordon, who is the county administrator. He's suing Jonathan Horowitz, the director of economic development. He is suing Aaron Weiss, who is the assistant county attorney. He's also suing Don Marcus, who is the clerk of the board. Now, moving on. As it relates to school board members that he's suing, he is suing Melissa Williams. She is the former school board president. He is also suing Linda Murray, the school board member. He is also suing Aaron Anderson, who is the person Porter claims is censoring comments on Facebook. But get this, guys, Shaun Porter is also suing a judge. That's right, Judge Victoria Lobley. She is being sued in her personal capacity right now by Mr. Porter. As it relates to big tech, Mr. Porter is suing Google LLC for YouTube and also suing Meta Platforms for Facebook. So here's the timeline of facts as presented. According to the lawsuit, this all started in August 2023 when Porter enrolled his 4-year-old deaf son, Shaun Porter Jr., in Washington County Public Schools. The school system allegedly denied his son a sign language interpreter and any resources related to his disability. The child was placed in the, quote, Engage program for disruptive children up to grade 5 at Bester Elementary School. The Maryland School for the Deaf accepted the boy in December 2023 to start proper education in January 24. However, according to Porter's claims, Washington County Public Schools delayed processing the transfer paperwork for 4 months. Porter states that his son's mother prevented him from taking action against school board officials until April 2024 when he began his advocacy efforts. In April of 2024, 2024, Porter began what the lawsuit describes as his advocacy campaign. He notified the sheriff of his intent to protest outside of the Washington County Public Schools headquarters. He threatened legal action against school officials, and he demanded meetings with school administrators. The lawsuit states that after Porter's confrontational approach, his son was immediately transferred to the Maryland School for the Deaf. However, according to the complaint, approximately 60 days later in May 2024, school officials contacted Porter's son's mother, attempting to have the child returned to the same school where the alleged mistreatment occurred, which was Bester Elementary. On June 1st, 2024, Porter attended the Smithsburg's Day Festival, where he encountered school board officials at a re-election tent, according to the lawsuit. Porter engaged in what he describes as an embarrassing discussion with then board president Melissa Williams about his son's treatment and other issues regarding Washington County Public Schools. The complaint states that Williams' husband and supporters called 911, and a sheriff's deputy told Porter his political discussion was disorderly, though Porter did remain at the event.
You got a BS call, and I'm sorry that someone wasted your time and my taxpayers' money. This would also explain why my tax assessments doubled this past year. I am very concerned about my kids' education. That's why I'm here at the school board tent. I'm also very concerned about my property taxes doubling, and it's for things like this. They need more money for services for people making BS calls to you about disorderly conduct.
Porter attended his first county commissioner meeting on June 4th, 2024. Speaking about accountability in county government, he discussed his son's situation and other government issues, including a civil RICO lawsuit filed by Justin Holder against county officials. Porter continued attending both school board and commissioner meetings on June 11th and 18th, 2024, with similar advocacy speeches. At a Washington County School Board meeting in June 2024, Porter gave what he describes as a passionate speech advocating for his child and exposing the superintendent's track record, according to the lawsuit. Melissa Williams interrupted Porter to demand he not use words that she considered to be profane. Porter states that he immediately resumed his speech with whatever language that he chose to use.
You will not interrupt my time, ma'am. I have a First Amendment right to tell you my opinions.
Mr.
This
Porter.
is the right to redress of grievances in your face, Ms. Williams.
We appreciate your participation in the meeting, and while I encourage you to address the Board of Education,
You're stealing my time.
And I will give you time.
You worthless fucking
Okay.
You tortured my disabled
Board,
son,
at
and you
this
will
time,
answer for it in a court
I
of law.
recommend it.
The complaint alleges that Williams and Linda Murray stopped Porter when he brought up past federal civil rights violations, including deleting critical comments from Facebook, blocking parents from the Washington County Public Schools Facebook, and denying disabled children the ability to attend school without face masks after the governor had ended the requirements to do so during COVID.
Would you please refrain from using profanity in your comments?
First Amendment, freedom of speech, that's my opinion of your job. You're doing a shitty job. You're an awful god. You're a very disrespectful person.
According to Porter's account, Williams and Murray claimed they had the right to stop him from speaking and the right to cut the camera feed and move into closed session to ask their lawyer about silencing his free speech. The lawsuit states that no other board members seconded Melissa Williams' request, and everyone sat in silence while Porter was unsure whether he could continue speaking or not.
You're silencing my free speech.
May I have a motion, please, and a second? So moved. Thank you, Mrs. Murray. Is there a second?
On October 8th, 2024, Shaun Porter spoke against the rules of decorum that would ban profanity, impose dress codes banning clothing the commissioner present didn't like, and restrict passionate speeches during public comment. This is all according to the lawsuit. Porter was then silenced when stating the commissioners were, quote, disrespecting the Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
You want to suppress my right to free speech? Fuck you, John Barr. Fuck you, Randy Wagner. Fuck you, Kid Killer Klein. And you bow tie wearing. I will not follow any of your ordinance. I will wipe my ass with it like you wipe your with our Constitution and our Bill of Rights.
The complaint states that John Barr told Porter his time was up, despite there being no time rule previously, and that people could speak as long as they needed until that point. Porter alleges he was the first person ever that John Barr had ever stopped from speaking, and that Barr ordered him to leave the public meeting under threat of arrest. Porter then states he didn't return to several commissioner meetings out of fear of false arrest. During this period of absence from the commissioners' meeting, Porter then discovered that Aaron Anderson from Washington County Public Schools was operating what he calls a censorship system on the school system's Facebook page. This is according to the lawsuit. She had set up an auto hide tool that would automatically hide comments containing certain negative keywords that she selected. Porter claims that negative comments about school officials would be hidden from the public view, while the person posting would believe their comment was still visible. Positive comments about the same officials would remain visible to all users. Porter's YouTube channel, which he claims had about 150,000 subscribers and over 1,200 videos, was deleted by Google. His Facebook account was also banned by Meta. Porter argues these actions were taken at the behest of government officials to silence his criticism of local government. In December of 2024, Porter resumed attending commissioners' meetings. On December 17, 2024, Porter and James Hawkins brought a 4-foot by 7-foot parody sign to a commissioner meeting. This was the sign modeled after the Hustler magazine advertisement that later became the subject of John Barr's defamation lawsuit. Porter states he was dressed as a Christmas elf during this meeting and that the sign was present for 15 minutes before the meeting began. According to the complaint, John Barr had no reaction to the sign and allowed it to be broadcast on the live stream. On January 14, 2025, Porter attended a commissioner meeting with another 4-foot by 7-foot sign. This one was described as a parody of, quote, The Three Stooges, featuring Jeff Klein, John Barr, and Sheriff Brian Albert, instructing citizens to, quote, vote out the trash in 2026. The lawsuit states that John Barr again had no reaction and allowed the sign to be broadcast on the live stream. On February 25, 2025, Porter attended a public meeting where the board changed the camera used to broadcast the meetings to exclude the audience and their signs. According to the lawsuit, John Barr called for an unprecedented recess that destroyed 15 minutes of citizen participation time. The complaint alleges that when the recess ended, Barr called citizens to speak out of order, first calling Commissioner Derek Harvey's wife, Beth Harvey, who is a chairman of the Republican Central Committee. After she and other women spoke positively about government, a student was called who also only said positive things. According to the lawsuit, when it came time to call on non-government citizens, Michelle Gordon told John Barr they ran out of time. Porter claims that this left a packed gallery of citizens unable to speak during Black History Month, including the president of the NAACP and more than 10 other speakers who wanted to address the ending of DEI programs in the county.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cease.
You have to let everybody talk. If you let 4 people talk, let the rest of us have a voice, John. What are you afraid of? The fact that I'm going to talk about Randy Wagner cheating on his wife and then hiring his mistress to work at planning and zoning?
Out of order. You're out of order.
Out of order.
I'm not going to continue to tolerate this.
On March 18, 2025, Porter attended multiple meetings. According to his complaint, he ended his public comments by exposing his backside to John Barr and the board while wearing what he describes as, quote, a stylish hot pink thong men's bathing suit with FU written on his buttocks. Porter repeated this behavior at the broadcasted portion of the meeting and at an evening meeting in Funkstown, Maryland.
But again, I would like to double down and triple down on my position from earlier this morning, and that is what I think of you, John Barr, and this entire board, and backflow preventers, and air gaps. If I hadn't said anything bad about you, there'd be no problems. But you wanted to start a war with a psychopath. You got one. So again, I'm going to do the same thing I did 3 times to you today already, so this will be the 4th time you're getting mooned by a guy with a 9th grade education that got expelled from Heather Ridge Reform School. So this is what you get as a public servant. You get to look at my again. So this is my deep, heartfelt political belief and opinion of you, John Barr, you coward. So go ahead, can you read that? Take a picture from my proctologist, would you, mother? I'm going to follow you guys to every single public event and to bring all my people to protest every ribbon cutting you have until you return things to the way the citizens wanted it. Congratulations, you started a war with a mother psychopath and nothing better to do than to come after all you and expose your dirt.
On March 19, 2025, the Washington County Board of County Commissioners cut a check for $5,000 to attorney Jonathan Gross, according to the lawsuit. Gross then advised County Attorney Zach Kiefer to send a threatening letter about Porter's protected speech to Mr. Porter's residence. On March 20th, 2025, Gross advised the county to get a peace order against Porter. Assistant County Attorney Aaron Weiss attempted to file a peace order in the name of the Washington County Board of County Commissioners, but this was rejected by the courts because a government entity cannot fear bodily harm, which is required for a peace order. County Attorney Zach Kiefer then crossed out the government name and photocopied the same document 3 times, inserting the names of individual employees of Washington County: Don Marcus, Jonathan Horowitz, and Michelle Gordon. Judge Victoria Lobley issued the temporary peace orders and added an addendum enjoining Porter from publishing on social media any stories, videos, or comments about these 3 government officials. Porter claims district court judges have no jurisdiction to issue injunctions or grant equitable relief. On February 28, 2025, the final peace order hearing took place. Judge Finnan ruled there was not enough evidence and explained that these were public officials, not private citizens, so the bar for a peace order was higher. The complaint states that all the government employees committed perjury. None articulated a direct threat, and all complaints involved constitutionally protected activities. On March 31st, 2025, just after the county's defeat in the peace order hearings, John Barr filed a $10 million defamation lawsuit regarding the Hustler magazine parody sign. The lawsuit was written by allegedly county-funded attorney Jonathan Gross and Sarah Spitalnik. After this lawsuit was filed, the county implemented new rules of decorum without a vote, banning profanity and obscenity, and giving the presiding officer sole discretion over citizens' free speech during public comment. On April 6, 2025, Porter notified Washington County government of his intent to use profanity and expose his backside at the April 8th meeting. The county did not respond or object to any of these potential actions. On April 8, 2025, Porter attended the meeting and used profanity 3 times, referencing the Cohen versus California case. He then briefly exposed his backside during his allotted comment time. John Barr declared that Porter was disrupting the meeting and ordered him to leave the building, then declared a recess.
Fuck the draft is my favorite phrase because it's from the 1971 seminal case law on First Amendment protections for freedom of speech. A man by the name of Cohen was arrested in '69 for wearing "fuck the draft" on the back of his jacket. He went into a courthouse and was arrested for disorderly conduct simply for displaying what some people would consider an expletive. I am now going to express to you how unhappy I am at the way that I have been treated for my free speech, the fact that you use taxpayer dollars to try to get fictitious, fraudulent peace orders, and then you paid 2 county attorneys to represent citizens that claimed they were in their private capacity, though they were on the clock for the county, worked for the county, were county employees, and all the peace orders were originally filled out in the name of the county. So I'm not very happy with the way that you spent my tax dollars.
Mr. Porter, your time is up. Mr. Porter, you're disrupting this meeting, and I ask you to please leave.
I still have my time. I still have 18 seconds left.
You have disrupted this meeting. I'm going to ask you to leave, or I'm going to call a recess, and everyone in this room will have to vacate.
You're trying to create your own grounds for disrupting a public meeting. That would be you disrupting the public meeting, John, not me.
No, you have disrupted this meeting.
How did I disrupt the meeting?
Recess.
Porter was then trespassed for 6 months from county commissioner meetings by County Attorney Zach Kiefer. Porter and Justin Holder filed for an injunction against Washington County as it relates to the trespass and rules of decorum, claiming both were unconstitutional. On April 10th and 11th, 2025, the county was served with the injunction request. Attorney Jonathan Gross sent a cease and desist letter, and Porter was served with Barr's $10 million lawsuit. From April 29th through July 15th, 2025, Porter attempted to attend multiple county meetings and was ejected each time under threat of arrest. This is according to the lawsuit. He was also called out as a trespasser and humiliated on live broadcast at each meeting that he attempted to attend.
Motion to approve. Motion to approve. Second. First and second, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Mr. Porter, you received a letter of no trespassing. Will you please leave? You have alternate means of communicating. You've been asked to stay away from this meeting because of your disruptive conduct. I'm asking you to leave now. Seeing no action, we're going to recess, clear the room.
On July 17, 2025, the Maryland Attorney General's Open Meetings Compliance Board ruled that Washington County, Maryland had violated Porter's civil rights by illegally denying him access to these public meetings. Porter is seeking damages across multiple legal theories. Count 1, defamation per se, $90 million. Porter claims that being repeatedly called a criminal trespasser on live broadcast television damaged his reputation. He argues that since John Barr valued each of his criminal accusations at $10 million in his lawsuit against Porter, Porter is entitled to $10 million for each of the 9 meetings where he was labeled a trespasser. Count 2, abuse of process. $1 million for the peace order proceedings, which Porter claims were designed to expose him to public ridicule and prevent him from attending the public meetings. Count 3, false light and invasion of privacy. $1 million for being featured in newspaper coverage and being made into a public spectacle while advocating for his disabled son. Count 4, civil rights violations, 42 U.S.C. 1983, $11 million each for each of the 11 meetings that he was allegedly denied access to, claiming First and 14th Amendment violations. Count 5, additional civil rights violations, $1 million against the school system for the Facebook censorship activities. Mr. Porter is also seeking declaratory judgments against Judge Lobley and the school board members. He also wants permanent injunctions requiring Google and Meta to restore his accounts. Porter's claims against Google and Meta center on alleged violations of their Section 230 protections. He argues that these companies engaged in viewpoint discrimination at the direction of government officials. Section 230 provides platforms immunity from liability for user content, but Porter claims this protection doesn't extend to acting as agents of government censorship. This case involves several areas of constitutional law. Porter's claims center on First Amendment rights to free speech and petition government for redress of grievances, as well as 14th Amendment equal protection claims. The case also involves questions about the scope of Section 230 protections. This case will involve Porter representing himself, going up against teams of lawyers representing wealthy government entities and billion-dollar tech companies. The discovery process could reveal internal communications between county officials and potentially between government officials and big tech companies. The Maryland Attorney General has already ruled that Porter's rights were violated regarding his exclusion from public meetings. This ruling may strengthen Porter's position in the civil rights claims against the county officials. This story continues to develop, and I'll be following this case as it progresses through the court system. So with that, guys, Levi Trumbull reporting. We'll be sure to keep you updated as the situation progresses. An unbelievable situation out of Washington County. But with that, we'll catch you guys very soon.